Supervised Boy writes 17 hours ago. Unrelated to this video, he's talking about the Miley Cyrus Party in the USA video. If you haven't watched my reaction to that, go watch it. Unrelated to this video, but Nolo, the fat electrician just dropped a new video about your family roots. Watermelon war in Panama. You gotta check that out ASAP. Laughing my off. You thought, I'm in the gym working out with my wife. I decided to open up YouTube Studio. I meant to open up YouTube Music, but I have it in the same little tab. I opened up YouTube Studio. The logos look the same. And this comment is what I see. I said, oh, babe, right when we done, I got to go home and react to this. Fat Electrician just did a video about Panama. You think I ain't? Shit. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me see how long he dropped this. How long ago? The comment was 17 hours ago. The video only dropped 18 hours ago. Now, Nick, I know you say give it 48 hours before we drop the reaction. That's cool. I can drop it 48 hours from when you launch the video, but I'm going to go ahead and react to it now because I got to know what the hell you about to learn me about Panama. Now, keep in mind now, my grandmother is where I get a lot of my Panama history from. She was born there, raised there. As an adult, she moved to America for better opportunities. She was in the medical field, became a nurse, traveling nurse, retired, and moved immediately. I'm talking about my grandma moved back to Panama immediately. She still had her house. The house that my grandmother first purchased for $6,000. I forget what year she bought it. That my mother, my aunts, my father, they all lived and they all were raised in this house. When my grandmother moved to America, my mom stayed there with my dad. My dad moved in and, you know, I was conceived there. But then right before I was born, 3 months before I was born, they made it to the United States. My mother wanted me to be born in America. My older brother was born in Panama. She wanted me to be born in America. So my pops did his military thing with the whole Bush situation and was able to get up here, got us up here. I was born here. And as soon as like I said, when my grandmother retired, she moved back. So as an adult, I started traveling to Panama more. And I would just sit on my grandmother's porch and she would just give me just tons of information about Panama history. And it's more on the corruption side. My grandmother is into politics in Panama. So all the Noriega stuff that she grew up and went through in Panama, she lets me know about all of that stuff. I never heard her say anything about a watermelon. Never heard her say anything about a watermelon. So let's see what Nick got for me so that now I can go back to my grandma and be like, Grandma, what's up with this? So learn me something, Nick. Let's rock.
All right, fair warning. This one's gonna get weird.
I bet.
Today we're talking about the watermelon war, that time that America and Panama had an international incident over a slice of watermelon, which it kind of sounds weird, but historically speaking, it's really not. I mean, Mexico and France almost went to war over a pastry. America and Great Britain almost went to war a third time over a pig on an island off the coast of Canada. And then there was that one time that Honduras and El Salvador almost went to war over soccer. So, I mean, war is weird. And to be fair, while it is called the Watermelon War, it was more of a riot, but it's kind of called the war because it had such a historical impact on the world. It's crazy. Basically what happened was a drunk American got in a fight with a Panamanian street vendor over a single slice of watermelon, not even a whole watermelon, just one slice of watermelon. And that created a ripple effect through time that resulted with America creating the Panama Canal. Okay, I'm gonna say that a little bit slower if you're not picking up what I'm putting down. A drunk American got in an altercation over a slice of watermelon with a Panamanian street vendor, and then it resulted in America cutting the entire continent in half. And I'm gonna explain everything right after a word from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by Element. Okay, look, we've been through this before. They've already sponsored the channel 10 times. They're gonna keep sponsoring the channel, mostly because I keep wanting to work with them because I actually like this shit. Okay, it's a super simple, straightforward product. It's just electrolyte mix, okay? I don't know how it works. Science is involved. It's like Gatorade, except there's no sugar and there's not a bunch of artificial food dye. I don't know why it works. All I know is I drink it once a day, my piss is clear, and I don't have headaches. And then if I'm working out, being fat and sweaty, sometimes I'll have 2, maybe even 3 a day, whatever the situation calls for. They just come in these little drink sticks, throw them in your bag, drink them whenever you need them. It's fantastic. Like I said, they don't have a bunch of sugar like Gatorade and all the other stuff. Despite that, they actually taste good somehow. I really like the lemonade and the raspberry and the chocolate ones. If you mix the chocolate ones with hot water, it's like hot chocolate. It's really good. I'll actually read all the ingredients for you right now. Salt, citric acid, magnesium, potassium, natural flavors, stevia extract, the end, manufactured in the USA. And if you're like super ultra health minded and you don't want the stevia extract, they have a raw version where it just tastes like salt. You mix it with your water and then it tastes like salt water. But hey, your piss is gonna be clear and you won't have headaches. You do you. So if you want to give Element a try, head over to drinklmnt.com/fatelectrician. I'll have that link down below and you're gonna get a free sample pack with every order. Let's get back to the video. All right, our story begins in the 1840s, and at this point in time, Panama is not a sovereign nation like it is today. Panama is owned by basically what amounts to today Colombia, and the two countries together are known as New Granada. And Panama in particular is very important at this point in time as well as today because the Panamanian Isthmus, it's only like 46, 47 miles to cross from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean. And it seems counterintuitive, but even though the Panama Canal doesn't exist yet, it's still the fastest way to get from the east coast of the United States of America to the west coast. The reason for that is you have 2 options if you want to go from like New York to San Francisco, right? You can A, get in a covered wagon, and then you can drive your covered wagon all the way across the United States of America through cowboy country where bandits are trying to rob you, through Indian territory where Native Americans are rolling up on horseback, shooting giant fucking toothpicks at you the entire time. And if you make it, the entire voyage takes you like 6 months. Option B, you can go to New York City, hop on a boat, take that down to Panama, walk 47 miles across the Panamanian Isthmus, hop on another boat, take that up to San Francisco, and that voyage is only going to take you 4 to 6 weeks and is way safer. Because of this, pretty much every major superpower in the world wants control of Panama because they control how fast you can get from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean, which is a humongous deal. America's looking at Panama like, how do you guys feel about democracy? The British are looking at Panama like, hey, how would you guys feel about having a king? And the government of New Granada realizes they need to get something figured out, otherwise one of these countries is going to invade, go to war with them, and potentially take over Panama. So they decide they're going to team up with one of these world superpowers, and the superpower that they pick is the one that's closest. They're going to team up with America, and they create the Bidlack Treaty in 1846. And what the Bidlack Treaty essentially says is, okay, Panama is its own sovereign nation. We're going to allow you to have your military here. We're going to allow you to transport things across the Panamanian Isthmus. In exchange for us letting you do that for free, you're going to guarantee that Panama remains sovereign. You're not going to invade us, and if anybody else tries to invade us, you're going to come back us up. That's the Bidlack Treaty in a nutshell. And America takes that deal because America's getting everything they want. They don't actually want to own Panama. They just want to be able to transport their shit from left to right, from the Atlantic to the Pacific.
Damn good deal.
And for a while, it works great. People that want to migrate from the East Coast to the West Coast do it through Panama, and then the main reason they end up using this entire thing is so that they can transport mail. So the US mail that's going from New York to San Francisco actually travels down to Panama. The Postal Service throws it on a donkey, throws it in a canoe, takes it across the Panamanian Isthmus, loads it on another boat, takes it up to the West Coast. But then somebody in California strikes gold, and suddenly the California gold rush starts, and the traffic going through
I was about to say, I never heard much about the mail part. The gold part I did know.
Panamanian Isthmus to get up to California explodes exponentially. Now there's tens of thousands of people making this voyage so they can go up to California and try their luck at panning for gold. Then somebody gets a bright idea. Hey, we've got thousands of people that want to get transported 40 miles across this Panamanian Isthmus as fast as possible so they can get up to California. If we make it faster for them, we could probably make a lot of money. So they start building a railroad. Now, instead of having to trek 47 miles across some donkey path, you're just going to be able to board a train, drive it 47 miles, hop on a boat, you're good good to go. So they start building this railroad. They employ a ton of local Panamanians to build the railroad for them, and it's a humongous boost to the Panamanian economy. That's where everybody's making all of their money. It's going great. Then to support the railroad, there's all kinds of other businesses coming in. They're throwing up hotels, they're throwing up bars, they're throwing up casinos, so people have stuff to do in that area while they're waiting to board the train, or once they get off the train, they can buy more supplies, whatever the case is. So they're throwing up a bunch of businesses as well. And fairly quickly, it's like this little tiny America inside of Panama. There's all these different businesses. You've got all these travelers coming through, spending money. It's an economic powerhouse. But we all know the saying, more money, more problems. I'm pretty sure Gandhi said that, but regardless, because of all this new money coming in, people and organized crime come in to take advantage of it, and there's a bunch of Panamanian bandits that are robbing people and disrupting the construction of this new railroad, so that pisses off the railroad company. So the railroad company hires a guy to solve the problem, a guy by the name of Randolph Runnels, who was a Texas Ranger up until this point. Just for the record, everybody thinks a Texas Ranger is like some weird state of Texas version of like the FBI, which today it kind of is, but back in the day, the Texas Rangers were basically Green Berets. These were special forces dudes that were going out into the wilderness and fighting off Native American tribes using guerrilla warfare tactics. These were not the guys that you wanted to fuck with back in the day.
You come to the wrong place to dog wade, boy.
That's right, old man.
Watch those fancy shoes. It's a real mess, you get it point blank, but I'm happy to do
Woody
it.
old ass. Woody old ass beating people up like a 92-year-old, ain't it? That thing was in slow motion.
It's a real mess, you get it point blank, but I'm happy to do it for you.
So Randolph Runnels and his boys come in and they start capturing and killing all of the bandits, so much so that the locals end up referring to him as El Verdugo, the hangman, and everybody's absolutely terrified of him. He's notorious. And that pretty much puts a kibosh to all of the bandits. And then the railroad gets finished and all of the local Panamanians that were building the railroad get laid off and basically get told, okay, thanks for building our shit, now fuck.
I don't know if my grandma know this history. Them folks came and was killing bandits so that the railroad could be built. I got some questions.
Fuck off. So now the railroad's making a ton of money. All these local businesses supporting the railroad that are also owned by Americans, bars, saloons, the whole 9 yards, they're all raking in a bunch of money as well. And the Panamanian locals have just kind of been kicked to the curb. There's like this little America that they're no longer allowed in. They can't afford the property there. They can't live near it. They're no longer reaping any economic benefits of it. And because of this, there's a lot of resentment from the locals towards this new American business, which, to be fair, completely understandable. They built the fucking railroad and now they're not benefiting from it at all. And to be fair, I have no historical evidence to back this next part up. This is me assuming a couple of things, but I'm gonna go ahead and assume that the Americans that were coming through and traveling weren't super respectful of the local Panamanians, because you gotta realize the Americans that are coming, these are all people that are like, okay, we have like cobblestone streets and streetlights in a modern society in New York City. I'm gonna risk all of that. I'm gonna move out to the wilderness in California and risk my entire existence on my ability to dig up a shiny fucking rock, okay? These are not risk-adverse people. These are people that are willing to gamble at all. So I'm assuming when they show up, they're not being respectful of the local population, and I would assume that makes it 10 times worse. Okay, I don't like it when people come into my small town and increase the wait time at the local restaurant. I definitely don't like it when they're being drunk assholes about it the entire time. That's just common sense. So that's what's going on in the background leading up to the Watermelon War. Then on April 15th, 1856, a bunch of Americans get in from the boat. They're waiting on the train to come pick them up. They've got a layover. One of these Americans is named John Oliver. Here's an artist rendition of what I believe he looked like. And John Oliver, like most Americans, determines, okay, I got to sit here for a couple of hours waiting on this train to come pick me up. I'm going to the bar so I can get hammered. So him and his boys go out to the bar. They start drinking. They get absolutely obliterated. And it just turns into the movie The Hangover. They start bar hopping from bar to bar. And as they keep hopping from bar to bar, they keep getting further and further away from the train station. And the further away from the train station you go, the more and more it starts to look less like America and more like Panama.
We don't have no beer, just tequila.
What's tequila?
Yeah, it's like beer.
If it's like beer, we'll have some. 3 tequilas.
Now, somewhere along the line, they cross paths with a Panamanian street vendor that's selling slices of watermelon by the name of Jose Luna. And depending on which source you want to read, there's two different versions of what happens next. Version number one is that John Oliver is being a drunk asshole. He walks up, grabs a slice of watermelon from Jose's cart, just starts eating it, and refuses to pay. Version number two of the story is that Jose Luna kind of does the tourist trap thing where the local street vendor comes up and like makes it seem like he's giving you a gift for free, and then after you put it on or you start eating it, he then expects you to pay him. Regardless of which version of that story it was, the fact of the matter is Jose Luna now believes that John Oliver owes him a dime for this slice of watermelon, and a dime for a slice of watermelon at this point in time is an outrageous sum of money.
There it is! It's beautiful! Take your hat off, boy, that's a $1 bill!
So they get into an altercation over this watermelon, they're arguing back and forth, and finally one of John Oliver's buddies, whose name has been lost to time, but here's an artist rendition of him, he decides that he's had enough of hearing about this, he'll just pay for the watermelon. So, like an adult trying to de-escalate the situation, he pulls a dime out of his pocket and then overhands it at Jose's face, hits him right in the forehead. At this point, Jose, pissed off, pulls out a knife, to which John Oliver, being the American in the situation, does what Americans do and pulls out a gun. So now we've got a standoff. Okay, things are tense. Everything is frozen. We've got a knife.
Let me tell y'all, Panamanians don't give one ras about no fucking gun. We don't care about no gun. We have a knife. We feel we can throw that knife faster than that bullet can hit me. Just know that. Panamanians gonna pull that knife, man.
And pulls out a gun. So now we've got a standoff. Okay, things are tense. Everything is frozen. We've got a knife. We've got a gun. They're standing there. Everything's going fine. Everything's going great. This is the point where everybody's like, okay, you got your dime. We're gonna leave. We're clearly the assholes here. Everybody can just go about their merry way. But then one of Jose Luna's buddies, whose name also has been lost to time, so we're just gonna go ahead and call him Hose B. Hose B jumps in and tries to grapple the gun away from John Oliver. And during this altercation, the gun goes off and shoots an innocent bystander.
No, you lying.
You mother...
And that's it. It's done. This is the match that lit the powder keg. We've got like a decade of racial tensions between the locals and the Americans, and an American, whether he did it intentionally or not, just shot a Panamanian, and within a minute, the entire thing just devolves into a massive riot. Panamanians are coming out of everywhere with clubs and rocks and sticks and knives and machetes and whatever else they have, and just start beating the shit out of the Americans. And the riot just keeps growing and growing and growing, and eventually they're in the American part of town. They're looting and destroying all of the American businesses, the bars, the hotels, all of it. They're destroying and stealing absolutely everything. The Americans don't know what to do, so they all fall back to the train station. They barricade themselves inside, and they're sending out telegrams asking for help, and those get cut short because the Panamanians start ripping down the telegram lines. They rip up one of these phone poles and start using it as a battering ram, trying to get inside the train station. They're gonna kill absolutely everybody. Then the Panamanian cops show up. The Panamanian cops are kind of like this middle ground of like, they're Panamanian, they're probably also very frustrated with America being drunk assholes inside their country all the time, but also they're working for the city understands that that's bringing in a ton of money, so they kind of have a vested interest in just...
This is kind of where my grandmother likes to focus. She likes to focus on the political, lawful and unlawful topics of Panama. She's a very proud Panamanian. She wanted to flourish and be beautiful. That's just what she wants. So she loves talking about this stuff.
Quashing the entire riot. They're not really gunning for the Americans like everybody else. Yet. As the Panamanian police are trying to break up this riot, one of the Americans from inside the train station shoots out the window and shoots one of the Panamanian cops, at which point the Panamanian cops are like,
oh, hell no.
Oh, hell no. So now the cops are on Team Riot, and just as it's starting to look like they're going to break into this train station and it's going to be a massacre, a train pulls up. Okay, it wasn't there. Don't know exactly what went down, but in my head, I imagine this train slowly rolling up and coming to a stop, and before the doors open, the whole mob has just like stopped, and they're now looking at this train like, Americans just showed up, we're gonna beat their fucking ass. And then the train doors open, and out walks El Verdugo. Fucking Randolph Reynolds and all of his Texas Ranger buddies walk out with guns, aim them at the mob, and Randolph Reynolds says, drop your weapons, at which point the Panamanians drop their machetes, their sticks, sticks, their rocks, their clubs, whatever they got, and they just fucking run. They're already scared shitless of this guy. He's a living, notorious legend. They take off. The riot is over. The smoke clears. 18 Americans have been killed. 2 Panamanians have been killed. A bunch of American businesses are destroyed. They were ripping up the railroad tracks. They ripped down all the telegram lines. It's a complete disaster. But it's not over yet because the American government hears about what happened and they have the typical American government knee-jerk reaction and they send in the Marine Corps.
Yes! That's awesome!
The Marines
They
land
send the
in
boys
Panama
in.
3 days after the watermelon riot, which is outrageously fast considering how long it takes for any communication in the 1840s. So the Marine Corps gets there, nothing really happens, they never fire a shot. Basically, the entire thing is over by this point in time. However, now the government of New Granada is pissed off that America just sent its military into their country. Like, that's an act of war. This is kind of a big deal. So the government of New Granada is like, you can't have your military in our country. To which America pulls the Uno reverse card and they're like, actually we can. We've got the Treaty of Bidlack that says we can have our military here to secure our own affairs, which is exactly what we're doing. To which the government of New Granada is kind of like, shit, they got a point. Okay, fine. The military can be here, do whatever you gotta do, and then get out. America, in typical American fashion, then doubles down and is like, by the way, whether it's our fault or not, whether we started this fight over a slice of watermelon, you guys destroyed a bunch of our stuff, the New Granada government is gonna pay for it. They fold, they agree to pay America $400,000, which is a ridiculous amount of money at this point in time as a settlement between the two. And then America triples down and uses this as an excuse to create American military bases on the islands right off the coast of Panama. So now America has military bases right off the coast of Panama, and they have the diplomatic justification to be able to use their military anytime anything is going on the Panamanian Isthmus that they don't like, which they end up using and deploying the Marines like 15 more times over the course of the next 5 decades.
Never heard of
So
this.
now we're in the early 1900s, 1903. America's got a president by the name of Teddy Roosevelt.
Here I come. Oh, here I come.
And Teddy Roosevelt decides he wants to build the Panama Canal. He wants to be able to drive his boats right through Panama to go from the Atlantic to the Pacific and vice versa, and that's what he wants. So he goes to the Colombian government. The New Granada government has been renamed to the Colombian government somewhere within the past 50 years. It's the Colombian government now, doesn't matter. So he goes to the Colombian government and asks for a treaty so he can build the Panama Canal, and the Colombian government refuses.
No.
Which is a bold strategy considering that Teddy Roosevelt's most famous quote is, "Speak softly, but carry a big stick," which is literally a reference to you should always use diplomacy first, and if diplomacy doesn't work, you should use force. And at this point in time, a lot of the Panamanians were really upset with the Colombian government because Greater Colombia kind of treats Panama like a backwater. They're not investing in infrastructure. They're not really treating them as an equal part of the country. So there was a lot of resentment built up there. So Teddy Roosevelt goes in and is like, basically, hey, look, if you guys have a revolution, America's gonna back you, which is kind of the nudge they needed. So they start a revolution trying to get their own independence from Colombia, and Teddy Roosevelt sends the American Navy and gunships to block Colombia from sending any reinforcements.
Boy. Now, this dates back. This is 1840s. I don't know if my grandma got all that knowledge. Some of this sounds familiar. But I didn't know that. I ain't know Teddy set it up like that.
Because of this, Colombia doesn't even really try to stop the revolution. They're not able to send their military in there, and the entire revolution is relatively bloodless and nonviolent. And Panama becomes its own sovereign nation, and you're never going to believe this, but the new Panamanian government is willing to sign a treaty to let America construct the Panama Canal.
What are the odds of that?
What are the odds of that?
And there you have it. That is the story of how some dude found gold in California, which led to an American getting drunk in Panama, getting in a fight over a slice of watermelon, which led to Teddy Roosevelt cutting an entire continent in half. The more you know, I guess. Thanks for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch, maybe pick up some Echelon Energy, go check out Pepperbox. Links for all of those are over at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang, out.
We got something else coming up?
Not gonna lie, I pride myself on never using clickbait. If I tell you that prohibition led to 2 billion pounds of cheese being in an underground cave in Missouri, I mean it. And if I tell you that a slice of watermelon made Teddy Roosevelt cut an entire continent in half, that's exactly what happened. See you later.
Okay. Man, I was locked in on that one, y'all. Anything about Panama, I'm trying to learn. So I'm gonna do this real quick. Hold on, let me see something. Let's see. I don't know if y'all can hear this.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Ma.
What's up?
I'm on YouTube. I'm doing a video right now, so don't say nothing crazy. When growing up in Panama, when y'all was in school and y'all was learning the history of Panama, did y'all learn about a watermelon war? About a street vendor who was selling watermelon and an American soldier took it and then it led to a big riot?
No.
Y'all didn't learn about that.
No.
Let me ask you this. From what you can remember, if you don't know the answer, Ma, you ain't got to force it. What led to the Panama Canal being built? Do you know? I know I usually talk to Grandma about this, but I figured I'd ask you.
No, I don't know that deep.
Okay. I'm a call. I know Grandma ain't gonna answer right now, but anyways.
Neville is calling me.
All right, Ma. Bye. Love you. Bye. My mom ain't trying to be bothered. Her husband fell and hurt. My step pops fell and hurt up his whole side. She ain't trying to hear nothing I'm talking about. But she said she ain't never heard no watermelon war. Now, I'm going to call my grandma. I ain't going to call her now because WhatsApp be a little glitchy. That latency on WhatsApp make the conversation hard to follow. So, but yeah, okay. So my mom never heard of the watermelon war. She my mom ain't never really been too concerned about learning every single detail about Panamanian history. But that was interesting to know. Now I get to have a very long, because me and my grandma conversation going to go for about 4 hours. Because I just be digging and asking and digging. And I swear my grandma got all the answers, so we'll see. All right, I figured I'm going to try to call my grandma. I said, let me do this on a whole nother video just in case she don't answer. But let's see if she answers. I'm going to call grandma and see if I can ask some more questions about Panama. Let's see. Where you dead at, Lily?
Hello.
Lily!
What happened?
What happened, Lily, man?
What them say you do?
I didn't do nothing.
What happened? What
Gra-
my baby doing?
He good, Grandma. He in school. Right now.
Man, that boy is a case, you know.
Yeah, man. Nobody's a kid's basket case. So you mean?
Tell him, grandfather, go upstairs. Think about what you did. You grounded. Go upstairs. Think about what you did.
Grandma, where you did it?
Outside. Why?
It's noisy. It's action.
Yeah, because in Pueblos and the street.
You in the street doing what?
You have an appointment.
Oh, okay. Grandma, I have a question. I have a question. Okay. I was just doing a YouTube video and it's about Panama. It's called the Watermelon War. The Watermelon War. Them say that in the 1840s, there was a Panamanian vendor selling watermelon. And an American soldier.
And a white man came up to didn't want to pay for it.
So you know about the Watermelon War.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So since him didn't want to pay for the watermelon, and it was just 5 cents.
Right.
And them had a big upstir, and I think they killed the white guy.
Okay, let me ask you this. Now they're saying that the Watermelon War is what kind of led to Teddy Roosevelt wanting to create. Matter of fact, how about this? Let me ask you this, Grandma. From your recollection, what led to the building of the Panama Canal?
What made to the building?
What led to them building? Why was the Panama Canal been built?
So that South America could connect with North America.
Okay. Now, maybe I asked that question wrong because we know that. My question is, do you know what led to the building of it? What was the reasoning?
And the French, we were connected with Spain at the time. And then we were connected to Colombia.
Right.
And it's the French who decided to build the canal, start building the canal.
I think they had the idea to want to do it, but I thought it was Teddy Roosevelt. I thought it was America who got the contract to do it.
No. It was the French. The American came in afterward.
Okay. All right.
But the French.
Okay, Grandma. Now you gonna be on YouTube.
For what?
What you mean? We having a conversation. We're having a conversation, and I'm gonna put it on YouTube. I recording the conversation.
Okay then.
But
Why? What's so funny?
Okay. It's funny because I was just telling my subscribers that my grandma, like, I just be hounding her with questions about Panama and she be having the answer. So it's just funny that I'm calling you and you actually know, because I call Mighty. I call your daughter. Your daughter don't know about the watermelon war.
No, oh, you mean she don't know?
She don't know. She said she don't know. So, Grandma, so this is what I'm getting. I'm getting that America built the canal and it kind of started from the watermelon war. That's not the reason, but it kind of, the watermelon war is what sparked it, which led, now there was bids on trying to build the canal, but they're saying that America basically got the bid and built the canal. I forget who he said built the train, built the train tracks that stretch through Panama. I forget who he said, but I didn't hear nothing about the French, but you're telling me that the French is who built the canal, at least from your recollection. Grandma, I lose you? Right, that I lost her. Grandma. Lily. Shoo, she gone. All right, so let me see. Let's see. Okay, there go Grandma. Hold on. Grandma.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what the video is saying, Grandma. The video say that the United States, even when I Google it, it say the United States. Oh my God, you're right, Grandma. The Panama Canal was built by the United States, taking over the project from a failed French attempt.
Okay.
You were, Lily, rotted. You know your history, huh?
I better know it.
What
I know it. I'm living in a country.
What a procedure.
All right then.
All right, Lily. Look, I just wanted to call and bother you with that, so I'll call you later, Grandma. I love you.
Love you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Damn. I told y'all, Grandma be knowing. Grandma be knowing. I'm going to attach this video to the reaction so y'all can actually hear that. Hopefully it came through clear, because I don't know if it came through clear. Hopefully it did. But like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me say that again. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.